Hi friend, welcome back to Freedom Practice with Jen. I'm Jen Wallace, and I can't believe it, but this is Freedom Practice number 9. We are almost to the end of our practices, but this is not the end of the journey, and I will explain more. But I hope you're getting benefit from this and enjoying it. I hope you're sharing it with other people. It's free and it's easy to tune into on YouTube through Freedom Practice with Jen. And I also want to encourage you, if you ever want to give me feedback, if you want to make a comment, you have a question, you want to share a story about using Freedom Practice, I would love to hear from you. You can email me at jw.lifecoaching@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. And so I hope you have your journal and you're comfy and you don't have any distractions. I'm indoors today, which is going to be quiet. And so maybe my last one I'll be outdoors again, but I like to try different places to record these videos for you. So let's start as we always do by slowing everything down. I'm going to lead you through simple breathing 3 times 3, where you take 3 sets of 3 breaths. If you do more, it doesn't matter. Just aim for at least 3. And we're going to settle in and really connect with ourselves. So I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to slow down and soften my body, smooth my breath. And let's just take a smooth breath in the nose. And exhale out, just release. Inhale, see if you can open and broaden through the chest. Exhale, soften your body. Another inhale. Just lengthen your spine, open and soften as you exhale. 3 body breaths now. Inhale. Come down to your feet, just focus on the bottoms of your feet, coming into the body. Inhale. Exhale, bring your attention to your hips. Let them be heavy. Inhale. Broaden through the collarbones, relax your shoulders. Exhale. 3 more breaths. Come up to the crown of the head now. As you exhale, just let everything release down. Smooth exhalation, releasing down. Inhaling. Releasing down any tension through the torso, just softening, melting, releasing. Inhale. And all the way down through the legs and out the bottoms of the feet. And then just keep that soft, smooth breath going. And we're landing. We're landing in our true nature. And our true nature is peaceful, truth, love, right? That's what's true for us. That's when we're in our natural state. And our breath, when we slow it and focus on it, it brings us right there. So easy, so simple. So I hope you are continuing to incorporate slowing everything down, turning inward towards the breath, and connecting deeply with yourself. So, yes, we are doing a deep dive. I've been asking you to turn inward, really sensing the wisdom of the body to know if you are on track in your life. Because when you are on track, your body should feel expansive and light. And when we're off track, then we tend to feel contracted. It can be very subtle sometimes. But if we're really tuned in, it's a beautiful, beautiful gift to be able to use the wisdom of the body as a compass, as a navigator. Okay? So I also last week asked you to get curious about what you yearn for. And what you yearn for is different than the wants. The wants are more superficial. And the world has taught us how to want a lot of things, and we can get very confused about what's really important. So when we turn inward, we slow our breath, we land in ourselves, and we can ask, what am I really yearning for? And this yearning comes from a place of truth and compassion and love. And we are creative beings. We were born to create. And so when we know what we're yearning for and we focus on that, make that our path, we're going to create a life that we really love living, that means is fulfilling and meaningful to us. So I hope you got some insight about that. And I want to read you a quote from a woman called Colette Baron Reed. And she says, "The web of creation has an uncanny way of coming together to weave the beautiful patterns you set in motion." I love that. So it's like we co-create with life. And when we make a commitment to ourselves, life meets us there, right? And I've really felt that with, especially in putting together these freedom practices. Once I made the commitment to doing this, I felt like there was just something pushing me along from behind. I had to take those first steps. So I hope you will take those first steps, or perhaps maybe you took some first steps and then you got stuck somewhere. And we're going to talk about that today with freedom practice number 9. Okay, so without further ado, freedom practice number 9 is simply be willing to fail so you can free yourself and flourish. Be willing to fail so you can free yourself and flourish. So the word failure may bring up a lot of things for people. It may bring up fear, shame. I'm not sure what it brings up for you, because the messages out in the world often tell us, well, if you failed at that, you are a failure. You're not enough. The messages of not enough, not good enough are very strong in the outside world, and our brain downloads that. And so we're constantly having to get clarity, right? So there's a lot to unpack in this whole thing about failure, but I think we can all agree that failure is part of being a human being. I don't care how wealthy you are, I don't care what color your skin is, what gender you are, how much you weigh, you are going to have failures in life. And it's my experience that as I have embraced failure throughout my life, and seen it as part of growth, it frees me to do so much more. And so I'm asking you to try that on, to see how, if you're willing to fail and you're not avoiding failure, what that could hold for you. Now, some of you may be saying, I'm not going to try and fail. I just can't do that. That doesn't seem wise. And I will tell you, I'm not saying try to fail. I don't want you to wake up in the morning and go, I'm going to try to fail at blank, whatever you're trying to create or step into. Not trying to fail. We are just showing up as authentic as we can and holding that we're willing to be sucky at whatever it is. We're willing to fall down. We're willing to not be good at it. Because if we're doing that, it does free us. And then we can flourish. I truly believe that's where we flourish, when we embrace failure as a freedom practice. Okay? So, I want to give you an example. As I've been putting together these videos, I totally embraced my willingness to fail. This was something new that I haven't done before. I haven't recorded videos and sent them out to the world. And I will tell you, if I didn't embrace this willingness to fail and just show up as authentically as I can, I would probably still be filming Freedom Practice number 1. And I don't think I would be putting these out to you right now, and I don't know when. Because failure to me really provides growth and gifts. There's gifts in the failures, and they're so important to learning. It's just how we humans do this. And if you won't allow yourself to fail, it really stifles us. I believe it really clips our wings. And so that's just one example. Another example is, relationships. I know, divorces are very common. I've been through 2 divorces. And of course, I went through a lot of, being hard on myself and, oh, you're a failure at relationships and blah, 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 blah. Well, I always had a yearning for partnership. I knew that was something I really wanted. I wanted to be a mother and have a family. So I showed up. I just showed up the best I could. And I didn't really have a lot of great models for what healthy marriage looks like around me and my family. We're all just doing the best we can with what we know. And I love that quote, when you know better, you do better. And that's my motto. But you don't have to know better in the beginning. You just show up the best that you can, and then you learn, and then you flourish. I believe that for sure. So I also want to share with you a book, and you may have, it's not a new book, Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. And she's all about shame and the shame attached to, when we make mistakes and we don't do it perfectly, and actually releasing that whole perfection thing. She has another book called The Gifts of Imperfection. So I highly recommend that you check these out if you're someone who just gets stifled by fear of failure, or you're beating yourself up, or you're just afraid of what other people will think too much. This is a really great book, and so is The Gifts of Imperfection. But she uses this quote, it's from Theodore Roosevelt, and it says, "It's not the critic who counts, not the man or woman who points out how the strong man or woman stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man or woman who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly." Love that. That's in the front of the book. So yeah, we're talking about getting out in the arena, taking the leap, taking a stand for what's important to us, creating the life that we want to live. And it's going to be messy. It's going to be very messy. As we've said from the beginning, life is messy, but the gifts are overflowing. And if we're willing to fail and free ourselves from all those restrictions, we will flourish. I truly believe that. Okay? So, journaling. Freestyle journaling is, I've tried to present it in a way where we get rid of failure as an option. It's like no rules, just show up as you are, let the pen move. It's just the words coming from deep inside of you, and you're having a conversation with yourself about what's important. And there's no rules about punctuation, how it looks, how it sounds. And so we're going to do that again. And I have some prompts for you. So let me find them. Okay. Here is prompt number 1. This is where I'm hard on myself. This is where I'm hard on myself. This is what I've downloaded about failure. This is what I've downloaded about failure, what you've taken in. When I'm willing to fail, what would that hold for you? If I'm willing to fail at blank, maybe fill in something specific that you're wanting to step into. When I'm willing to fail at blank, what would that hold? If you're embracing, failure as a freedom practice. And then during the week, I think keep journaling about this, but also maybe add in, here are the gifts of my failures. Here are the gifts of my failures. Even though I've had 2 failed marriages, the growth, the gifts, the children I've had, the experiences, they've been way bigger than my failure, the ending of the marriage. And I'm in a very beautiful marriage right now. And I work at showing up completely 100% whole as much as I can, truly as I am. And this person embraces that, my husband. So go ahead. If you want to stop the video, you can, or do it at the end. So you can stop the video and journal. And then I'll meet you on the other side. Okay. Journaling is going to be really important for this one, or even talking to somebody and talking about failure, somebody that you trust, that you could share with. Really processing and looking at what the gifts have been for you and what are your beliefs about failure. So here now is the part where we write an intention statement, and the intention statement is just that grounding statement that's you're gonna keep coming back to. Maybe you fall off the wagon, off the freedom path, and you come back to this statement, you breathe slowly, you ground yourself. So here it is, just some examples, you might have one. I give myself permission to fail and flourish. I give myself permission to fail and flourish. I get into the arena willingly and grow. I get myself into the arena and grow. I'm willing to fail and reap the gifts. I am willing to fail and reap all the gifts. I let life be messy and I stay open to the gifts. That was similar to the intention statements from practice number 2. Okay? So that is your freedom practice for this week, to be willing to fail and free yourself so that you may flourish. I love that word flourish. It's just really blooming. And get curious about what you want to, continue to get curious about what you yearn for and take a step into that and really guide yourself through. Just like you would cheer for a little toddler who's learning how to stand. That toddler has that yearning to stand upright in their life. And so they stand up, they fall down, they stand up, and everybody is cheering for them. So cheer for yourself and let yourself be willing to fail and fall down. And when you get up, you're going to know more. You're going to be stronger. And it's just going to keep unfolding that way. All right? And keep journaling. Keep journaling. It's so important to keep uncovering and give your mind evidence. Like, Where are the gifts of all the failures? Yeah, we focus on the failures, but let's focus on the gifts of the failures. And I'm going to talk about all this information that has been downloaded in our minds in the last practice. But keep having that deep conversation with yourself and keep coming back to your intention. No matter what, keep coming back, keep grounding yourself, staying connected to yourself, going deep, feeling into what feels like you're on the right path. Trust your body's wisdom. Okay? All right. It's a great adventure, and I'm happy to be sharing it with you and maybe opening up some things for you. I'm excited for you. Okay. You know what to do, Freedom Warrior. Carry on. Be safe. Be well. Namaste.